Hey, howdy there, modelers. This is Alan of RDA in Scale, and we did something kind of neat. Uh, uh, and it was on the deal or the thinking of how could I make my PC board, or in this case, my UTP panel, how could I make it just a little bit better? And how could I also make it to where I didn't have to worry about that if I accidentally rub my arm up against it, or let's see if I can put that might be too much here. Rub my arm up against it, or my hands or something like that. And I wanted to keep myself from getting the little fiberboard splinters from it. Well, we decided that we would call NCE, and we asked them there at NCE, North Coast Engineering, and we talked to Mr. Ed Wilson. We said, Mr. Ed, would it be okay if we fix up our UTP panel? Would it hurt anything, the integrity or anything like that? He said, no. He said, what you want to do? And I told him about the board having little splinters on it, and he said, well, from time to time when they're cutting out new boards, they're basically like a bunch of crackers. You're like your saltine crackers. They might have 15 or 20 of them or whatever in that, and they break them like a saltine cracker. And so he said some of them may tend to splinter a little bit, but he said you can you can fix that issue by sanding lightly on the board. But he said I would recommend wearing a protective, something protective while you're sanding on it. Or he said you can use I think he listed about 2 or 3 different kinds of glues, 4 glues, maybe 5. He said, I was asking him about super glue. He said super glue would be fine. Elmer's glue, Elmer's all glue. I think there's a couple Gorilla Glues that he said wouldn't do anything to it. He said even fingernail polish. You could put some fingernail polish on it. And I said, well, what about taking the super glue and putting the super glue on it, and then when the super glue dries all up, taking something non-metallic like some flat black paint, some enamel paint, which would be basically Testors. What about putting a little bit of Testors flat black paint on there? And he said, hell, that'd probably dress it up really nice. And so I got my bottle of Testors flat black and got the brush out, and we gently started, giving it a light coating of flat black. And you can see that you can see that I went over just a little bit on the edge, in which that's not going to hurt. That ain't going to hurt nothing. You can see that here on the end, you can see just a tad bit right there where that little hole is there, but I probably won't be doing anything with that. The panel is only going to be basically used, as a passive panel. I probably won't hook up the light. I don't know. But each side of the panel, I painted with flat black paint, and here on the end. And so that when I take my finger, and right now you can see my fingers or whatever and that are excessively dry. I got dry skin. If I take my finger and I go, or take my hand, I can still feel a little bit of roughness off the board, off this board a little bit. But those fibers are sealed. So I shouldn't get any fibers in my fingers. And here, I put glue all the way around it, and right here is just not butter smooth, but it's smooth enough that I can run my finger and not have to definitely not worry about anything going in my finger. And I mean, some of you guys might be like that, hey, I don't want that shit in my fingers, or stuff in my fingers, excuse my language. And, if one coat ain't enough, let it dry and stick another coat on. And I can still feel a little bit of a roughness right here, but this has been glued. This has been glued, and then I painted it. I mean, I can still feel a little bit of, roughness there, where the wafer is. You can still kind of feel the wafer. I don't need to sand that, but you can see it feel a little bit, but it ain't nothing that, like I say, it's not going to poke me or stick me or whatever in that, because basically that board, if I can get this to focus, that board is sealed, to an extent. You can still see it coming up just a little bit, but it's sealed with that paint. And then here on the side, it's painted all the way around. And I wanted to show different sides of it. Now, the front of the board, or the board that's up by the panel, I didn't do anything with it. I left it alone. And I don't know, someday if I ever decide that I don't want to take the panel off and paint it, I may do it on that end too. But I mean, I just mainly wanted my exposed edges covered to where, like I say, you run your finger like this accidentally, you're under the board, you're moving around, you're trying to grab something, you're trying to do something or whatever, and you run your finger over one of these boards and you go, damn, that hurt. What the hell was that? You look in your finger and you see a fiber sticking out of your finger or whatever, and you're going to be a little bit on the PO'd side. And you think, well, what the hell can I do to fix that? Well, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can fix, or sand it, or do stuff like that, or just get the old super glue out or a glue out, and give her a seal on the give her a little bit of a seal on there, and like like Ed said at NCE, said ain't gonna hurt nothing, and to do that. So we wanted to show that and share that with you guys. And like I say, I asked Ed there at NCE, so I'd say any NCE board, as long as you're not getting around the vitals or anything like that, and you're good with painting, if your hands, if your hand's not really, really shaky and you don't have to worry about getting paint all over or something, you'll probably be fine. I don't know if you could do the same with the Digitrax or some other company, but when I asked Ed, he said he was okay with it. He even told me that if I had a problem with the board, I could send it in to him and he'd send me another new one. So anyway, wanted to show you this, a neat way to dress up your UTP panel and make it a little bit more classier and make it less pokey, like a sticker plant. So I hope you guys like this. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Please give me that like, and please ring the bell. And we thank you for watching. And be safe out there for New Year's. Catch you later. RDA N scale. Alan, we'll see you. Bye-bye now.